Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I'm doing well. We're hopping on here just a minute early because we're about to get the jobs report for June and the weekly payrolls numbers. So that'll be out here in about 30 seconds. And let's watch this list grow exponentially at that time and the SPY go insane.
Yes.
How about you, buddy?
Doing good, man. A little bit tired today, but yeah, last day of the week, so looking forward to a nice long weekend. Get to relax a bit, so looking forward to a nice July 4th. A very different July 4th for a lot of us, obviously with everything going on, but still some time to relax and take it easy.
All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. One coming out here. $4 million versus 3, so it was a better number.
Some pretty good action going on right now, that's for sure.
All right.
All right, excellent. Yeah, got some pretty interesting
payrolls,
stuff.
we added 4 million jobs in June versus 3 million expected. Of course, as I've mentioned, it's tough. I mean, tough for analysts to predict this stuff. Private payrolls increased 4.7 versus 2.9 expected. Unemployment rate fell to 11.1 versus 12.3 expected. So better pretty much across the board there, with sending the S&P up now 314. So, all right, buddy, I'm going to turn off Benzinga now. Let's get rolling.
Got it. All right, let's do this. All right, guys, we have a pretty, obviously, a long gappers list towards the upside. The market was up nicely today, so we'll get into more of the market talking a little bit. But right now, look at this gappers list, guys. Everything that we've been watching over the last couple of weeks that had some type of action, activity, or news is on here. You got all the cruise lines today. You got all the airlines. You have Tesla, obviously, which we'll talk about in a second. And you got some of the stuff that's some of the more volatile stocks that we've been watching lately, like SHLL, also on this list. So quite a bit on here this morning. We're definitely, obviously, cannot get through all of this. And if the SPY continues to rip higher, you can see here more stocks are going to pile on to this list as we get going this morning, and as they get over that 100,000 in volume. Gapping down, we only have one, NKLA, so we'll look into what's going on there with this one. But first, Norm, before we get to the gappers list, anything else on the market that we should be looking into?
No, the big deal is those job numbers. Excuse me, I apologize that my phone is not silenced. It now is. No, all those numbers just came out. We got factory orders at 10 a.m. and then also we'll continue to get more automotive news out. You'll see Tesla is up 9% this morning. They reported their sales for June, and they were just through the roof. So, we'll get that data. I anticipate today we might have a good start, but with the holiday weekend coming up, probably tail off pretty quick and maybe chop around later.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of volume we're going to get on this Thursday holiday coming up over the weekend. So with that said, guys, let's look at our gappers list this morning. Let's get into the details here. We'll start with what is gapping down, which is NKLA today. So this one obviously taking a bit of a hit here. If we look at the daily on this one, I was looking at it earlier. Again, it is not a pretty daily. It's a stock that can move very wild. I do not see shares for sure with IB at the moment. And you can see here we're sitting right at this level of support that we had for quite some time. This thing had a beautiful pop a couple of weeks ago, did very nice, kind of held that for a bit, but it's just kind of sitting at this level here. So again, not sure what their deal is today. They're down nicely. Was down about almost 4%, looks like, coming back a little bit here this morning. Not sure what's helping the bounce, but overall, it is one that is going against the grain today.
Probably bouncing a little bit on Tesla numbers and how good their sales were. I mean, this is a sympathy play to Tesla. These guys are taking $5,000 deposits on a car they don't even have a prototype for. So it's highly speculative play. It's pulled back on the daily from that big run up, but I think it's just, sympathy play on other EVs. So
Got it. So we'll keep it down here, guys, as a possible. It's also 25 million shares flow, so it is on the lower side. And again, we've seen how aggressive this thing can be, so you want to be very careful. Also, the spread, guys, be mindful of the spread. For example, here right now, if I wish I could freeze this, we have 5-cent spread. But if you look into the gaps here, you know, you're literally looking at 1,000 shares just to get to the next level of 63.98, right? So that's not a lot of shares. Maybe about 1,600 now. That's not a lot of shares in there. So you want to be very, very careful when you're getting into a stock like this. A lot of zeros in here. That means there's less than 100 shares order sitting at that space. So be careful with that also. All right. With that said, let's look at what's gapping up. We'll look at the top 5 in the double digits or so, and then we'll go into the cruise lines, the airlines. Again, it's going to be tough to dissect this list today, but we'll see what we can get out of this morning. Here's Fran, FRNA. This one's up 100%. A low flow stock sitting at 3 million shares, guys. So again, also trading under $5 for the most part, just now breaking out of that area into the $6 mark. So definitely active, great pre-market, some good action. Norm, any news on this? Any catalyst making this pop?
They're making an app.
Okay, that is amazing news. Cannot wait to see how that's going to end.
This day and age, a retailer that doesn't have an app, and just in 2020 they decided to make one. No wonder this stock is just down, you know, so much over the last 12 months. This thing has just been destroyed. It's got 31% short float. Yeah, an app.
Yeah, that is.
Well, welcome to 2008. Sorry.
Yep. So we'll see how that's going to end up for these guys. I have it down here again. Might not make my final list, guys. We've been doing so well with all these other stocks and really not touching none of these low flow ones. So here's a NIO. NIO this morning. Beautiful pre-market action on this one today, guys. So definitely want to watch. Also, look at the pop. We're up 16% with some pretty good volume. 15 million shares traded. Now, I have not personally traded this one, but I've seen some really good trades out of the community on this stock. And I can see today it is definitely in play. Norm, aside from technicals, anything moving the stock so well this morning?
Yeah, this is a Chinese electric vehicle maker. They reported their numbers like all the others, and they were, I think the latest month they hit a record number of sales and beat expectations. So that's what's pumping them this morning.
All right.
I think they sold 10,300 vehicles is what my notes say.
Gotcha. Again, beautiful pre-market action, guys. This is looking very good today.
For the quarter. Excuse me, it was 3,700 for the month. So
gotcha.
It was a record on both fronts.
Excellent. Good news for them, and they're actually showing that in their chart this morning. BPY, this doesn't look all that great. It looks a little bit dull for the most part. It's up 15.2, 156. Oh, there we go. That's the reason why. Again, nothing too exciting here, so I'm just going to skip on this one, guys. I'm sure today we'll have a lot to watch with some pretty good volume, especially the way the SPY is pushing some of this stuff up. BLNK, we had this one a couple of days ago, has been pretty explosive. Right now, we only have 306,000. We are up 13.2. Pre-market is decent. It's okay. It's not great. We're pushing up on this high of the pre-market right now at 553. Worth watching. It might not be one that I keep on deck. It's shy of we're sitting right at 20 million shares flow, so I will treat it as a low flow and be careful with it, especially with the way it has been moving. For the most part, this stock's been trading under $3 and just breaking out of this over the last couple of days. Also, keep in mind, guys, that again, stocks like this, they need to have a lot of volume. 310 for this type of stock is not all that exciting, as 310 would be for regular stocks. So again, we need to see a good pre-market activity. For example, Fran has a beautiful pre-market activity. Not saying the stock is better than the other, but we want to see this type of pre-market action on stocks like this one that are especially lower flow stocks. So BLNK, we'll put it on here. We'll see what happens in a little bit later. SHLL, another one that also has been very explosive, way better pre-market activity than we have on BLNK, so worth taking a look at. I know some people have been taking some trades on this one. For the most part, their daily, though, looks pretty decent. After we started to get some volume in here, look how nice we have been trading. We found a support here beautifully around 25. We're gapping up this morning. A possible continuation here on the news they've been doing. But again, as we've been mentioning, guys, this is a shell company, so you want to be very careful on how you trade it. I avoid it. I don't put it on my list, but again, I'll put it on here. We'll do some levels for it, but again, be very careful in trading this one. Here's Plug. Plug has also been very active over the last couple of weeks, really. It is up another 9% this morning, 611,000. Let's go back and take a look at how it traded yesterday. Had a very clean day after it settled down for the first 15 or so, actually 30 minutes or so. So active pre-market activity like we are seeing now. But look, after 30 minutes, this thing settles down nicely, breaks out of the moving averages and VWAP here, and goes straight to the high of the pre-market, high of day, and it continues to trend very nice. So again, not typical Plug action. We've seen the stock before be very active, but I got to say the last couple of days we've seen some pretty good trading in the intraday. If you go back and look at all these days in the last 4 or 5 days of trading, you're going to see some pretty good action. So I'm inclined to keep it on here, guys, this morning. See if we're going to get that type of continuation, especially with the way the SPY has been trading pretty strong this morning, can kind of fuel some of these stocks. And here's the beast of the day, Tesla. I mean, just unbelievable, guys. Look at this thing here. Now, this is now getting out of my comfort zone when it comes to pricing. But you can see here, guys, just blowing through 1,000 here. Look at this great level we had a couple of days ago, and just continues to push here. Norm, what's the latest and greatest on Tesla?
Yeah, so they released their, yeah, Peter, it's just now getting out of your comfort zone of the price.
Yeah, it's just now, 3 digits.
I was cool trading this for when it was like $700, and then it started getting a little wild at 900. So I've kind of tapered off. It was great to trade, and if anybody's in this, I know I've known a lot of people that have had this longer term hold from like $300-400. So
wow,
congrats.
Nice.
It's been a wild ride, but congratulations. Yeah, so they released their numbers. They sold 90,000, I think it's 400 and some odd cars in June, which is like 50% higher than analysts had expected. So just knocking it out of the park, and getting rewarded for it here.
That's incredible. I'm telling you, if there's a stock that analysts were completely off and wrong, it's on this one right here. They were just so out of the water. It's not even funny. Nowhere near close. So again, guys, look at this beautiful trading. Just again, too expensive. I'm not gonna add it onto the list here. So I'll keep it on here because I do like to watch it. I do like to watch the movement on it. But again, I will not be taking a trade on this one. A CAR this morning. It is up 9.5, 118,000. Right now, pre-market action is not looking great though, guys. This is a very choppy at the moment. It's starting to get a little bit better after 8:15 here. If this can continue, we can get some volume, right? We need more volume in here to get a nice flow of the pre-market to continue that. Now on their daily, you do see a beautiful consolidation here around 2250. We're breaking out from that on the daily. Possibly got some room to run. We got the 200 moving average on there as well, around 2625. Could be a magnet if it can pull it up to that price level, but we need a lot more fuel than this to get this going. So I'm gonna throw it down as a possible here, guys. It might not make our final list. It's got to get a little more juice to get on here. All right, guys, I am going to skip now. That's a lot we have gone through already. We took care of some of the double-digit stuff and also some of the ones that are down here, like Tesla, Plug, and Car. I'm going to do WKHS because this one is also another one that has been very explosive in the afternoons, especially. I think yesterday it took off nicely, and we're in the chat, and some people took advantage of this beautiful pop here. So nice play there for those that took advantage of that. For the most part, guys, this could be a continuation play. Over the last couple of days, this thing just continues to find a way to end the day green no matter what happens. Look at the range here. This range is going from $13 all the way to 20, and it continues to just make a new high almost every day. So another new high here for WKHS on the daily. I'm gonna throw it on here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it yet, but definitely one that is very active and in play this morning. Let's go over our cruise lines, and then we'll do our airlines, and then we'll go over to what you guys have on your end. Let's start with CCL this morning. Obviously the SPY is up, so these travel companies tend to move with them. Here's CCL, 105,000, up 5.1 this morning. Again, just following what the overall market is doing. So pre-market is looking okay, not great. We've seen better, that's for sure. Let's look at NCLH. This one also, the pre-market is not looking all that good, guys. I mean, we're up 4.4, 786, but we've seen so much better out of these. So not a fan of any of these right now. I'm going to put on CCL here in case things get better as we get going, but not looking all that great. Let's look at the airlines. We have JetBlue leading the way, up 4.4 this morning. Again, not the best pre-market action as well. Let's take a look at United also. United had a decent day yesterday. Here we go. United. Yeah, United had a very clean day yesterday. Look at this, guys. There's a beautiful drop here. Very active pre-market activity as some of the airlines did. It's just a beautiful short on the way down towards basically the entire day. Right now, again, very similar to the other airlines, guys. I'm not seeing a whole lot of excitement in the pre-market. We have volume, but pretty static and flat at the moment. So I'm not sure what to think about these. I'll have to come back to them, and hopefully around closer to 9:30 we'll get a little bit of a better action. So that is JetBlue. We looked at here's RCL, another cruise line's not doing all that much. United, we looked at. American Airlines has been explosive, guys. This one's up 3.6. It has more volume than all the other airlines, so for that reason I'm probably going to put this one on here because I know they've been having their own news as well, not today but over the last couple of days, so we'll keep an eye on this one. And then INO is one that I see you guys mentioning here, so let's look at that one now. This one also up 3.6, 1.4 million shares traded, but again, this stock you want to be careful. It can be so choppy to trade. So let's look how it traded yesterday. The pre-market was a lot better yesterday than it was today, and that continued into the trading day, so very nice there. Today the pre-market is not looking as great, guys, but we are bouncing off a support level here, so that could be the reason why. But again, we'll have to check and see. All right, guys, let's see what you... Oh, one more. I want to check on BYND because BYND was also very nice yesterday. There we go. Very nice yesterday. Beautiful short here, guys, after this pop at the open. Just trended nicely. Here, not doing much right now, but you know what? That's typical BYND. It usually doesn't do much for the most part in the pre-market, and it can have an explosive day. So I'm inclined to put it on here for that, and we'll see what we can get out of it. All right, guys. Norm, aside from what we are looking at already, what do you like this morning on your list?
Yeah, so a few here, man. Financials are leading the gains this morning. Essentially, every sector is up. But with financials leading the gains, I'm looking potentially at JPM. They're up 2.4% on pretty heavy volume, 260,000 shares. Roku made a big move up yesterday. It's not really doing much right now. But I'll keep my eye on it. And then Square had a crazy day yesterday, so yes. I'll keep my eye on that one as well.
Yeah, Square is just incredible. I mean, I remember trading this stock back at $40, you know, at $60, and now we're at 117. So just incredible what Square has done over the last couple of a month or two. Just insane. Continues to break higher, and a big day yesterday. Never really looked back, guys. Here's the open yesterday on Square. Just took off. You have a couple of pullbacks to the moving average just to pick up some more buyers, and it just kept going into the close. So very nice there. All right, let's take a look at what you guys have on your end. Let's start with our chat room here. So PFE, this one was active yesterday, and it gave a lot of it, not a lot of it, gave all of it back yesterday, guys. Popped up here and kind of gave it, not all of it, but most of it right back into the day. This morning they're up 3.2. I do like this because you can get a possible continuation. You are above the high from yesterday, so I think PFE could be interesting. We're up 752. I'm sorry, we're up 3.3 with 752,000. This was the one that caused the markets to kind of get very active when they had that news breakout. So hopefully today they can get a continuation out of that. All right, let's see what else we have. We have BA on this list. Let's take a look. BA, yeah, BA very similar to the airlines, guys. We've seen BA's pre-market activity be so clean. Look at it yesterday. Just amazing how this thing traded. As the airlines did, they all just kind of crashed down a bit into the open. Today, again, it's just very similar to what some of the airlines are doing. I'm not seeing anything overly exciting on it. I'm going to throw it on here just so we can watch it later. But again, it might not make our final list. Here's a T-Mobile, TMUS this morning. They have no volume, guys, only 35K. So again, possible breakout if they can get some news and volume going here, but not seeing anything right now. Let's see what else we have, guys. Let's go back up, see if I missed anybody. UAL. Yeah, UAL could give it all back. Let's take a look. Yeah, we looked at UAL already. Again, just pretty much flat right now, guys. I mean, we're up 3.9, but their pre-market is pretty much dull at the moment. So we'll have to see how this market is going to open. Whatever the SPY does, it can drag these stocks one way or the other. We've seen, again, these travel companies, the cruise lines, the airlines. If the SPY starts shooting up or shooting down, they're just right behind them on that tailwind, doing whatever they're doing. So we'll see what the market is going to do today at the open. All right, guys, ATVI, one last one, and then we'll go over to our YouTube chat. ATVI, also very light on volumes. Had a big day yesterday. I haven't seen the stock in some time. Yeah, had a big day yesterday, but not with a whole lot of volume, guys. So this probably where we have not hit any of our scanners. Again, it did trade nice. It did uptrend nicely, but again, you could tell here the price action was very weak, even on this uptrend. So again, barely making 10 million shares, which is the typical number of shares that they trade for their entire day. So, but overall, nevertheless, a nice big green day, possible continuation if they can get more volume. Right now, this volume is very light. I don't see anything happening right now. All right, let's take a look at our YouTube chat, guys. Here we have a good question, Joshua. We're gonna answer that in a second after we go through this. DKNG, let's look at this here. DKNG. Oh man, this thing has been pretty wild, pretty crazy. Look at the open yesterday, guys. Look at the drops that we're getting here. You had a beautiful pop and then a beautiful slam right down again. So again, the price action on this one, I did watch this closely yesterday. It's a little bit difficult to trade. This pre-market right now is also not looking great. Over the last couple of days, you had a lot of choppiness here. You're not getting these long, nice bars that we're getting here. So for the most part, again, not all the best right now this morning. Let's take a look at Piton. Piton had a couple of really good days couple of a week or two ago. Right now, for the most part, only 25K, and the volume is very light. They continue to break new highs though, so they're doing nice on their daily, but the intraday, the pre-market are looking great for the most part right now. All right, so let's go over to Nvidia. Clean daily on the Nvidia. Let's take a look. All right, so Nvidia, yeah, beautiful daily, guys. Possible breakout here. Again, pre-market is very light on Nvidia right now, so we'll have to see how that's going to play out. We can throw it here as a possible next to car, but right now the pre-market is very light on action. Amazon is another one of those stocks that, again, we look at, but I definitely do not trade. It had a couple of days, big day yesterday, but again, the price on this is just, we're going to hit 3K any minute now. It's just insane what Amazon has been able to do, right? So Amazon is great, but not in my scope of things here. All right, guys, let's look at INO. We'll do two more, and then we'll get to some questions, some good questions we have here in the chat today. We'll answer some of those. Let's take a look at NIO. NIO right now, very active, guys, popping up nicely. This stock, we do have this one, actually. Yeah, we do have this one up here. This stock has been very explosive, definitely on the list. Probably one of the best pre-market activities that we have this morning. All right, let's get to some questions we have here. So I had Joshua with a question. Can you explain what makes a daily pre-market chart look so good? Sorry for the new question. No, it's okay, man. That's what we're here to do, to answer these questions. So what we want to see, and look at class number 2. It is in our YouTube. So if you go Bearable Traders to our channel, look at class number 2. We have an older version of the class there, and we talk about the pre-market action. So for example, this here, guys, this is the cleanest pre-market action that you can possibly see. A lot of great things going on here. You have movement. You look at the range of these candles, right? You have a lot of big candles. It's not full with just wicks and no body. So that's a good pre-market action.
You gotta discard that one crazy long one, because that just came out at 8 and it's kind of meaningless. Probably block trades that went through.
Yep. At 8 o'clock, guys, if you're on early on looking at these charts, you're going to notice around 8 o'clock, this thing just starts shuffling up and down, and it ends up right where it was. That's just people, kind of putting in their transactions. And it happens to a lot of stock. It happens on the SPY. It happens, I'll show you some other ones here. Probably WKHC, 8 o'clock as well. Not as bad, but you have that action happening at 8 o'clock. So so avoid that. But this right here, guys, beautiful, clean pre-market action. Now let's look at a bad pre-market action. Let's see if we can find one. Here, Nvidia right now, This is light, right? You're not seeing a whole lot of bodies in here. See the difference between this and like a NIO? That's a very big difference when it comes to good pre-market action. So we're talking about, we want to see a clean, a good pre-market action and activity. What I like to call this is we want to look for a good flow, right? This has a very good flow. It almost looks like the market is actually open, and part of that reason is because you have a lot of volume. And in our business, or the way we trade, volume is key, guys. You want to watch stocks that have volume. I think it was WKHS. There was a day here where, again, it's just the volume just died down completely. And although it was a stock that was gapping up, it traded horribly. It didn't do anything, right? No, it was not this one. I remember which one it was, TBIO. Here it goes. So this one had gapped out. Let me show you this. And it's just the volume completely died. Look at this down here. And you're not getting any type of action. So you can't trade this stuff. Look at the pre-market. This is horrible pre-market action. Very choppy. So that's the difference. That's what we're looking for. But for more details, guys, class number 2 is available on YouTube. It is an older version, unfortunately, but it is free, and you can watch that as we break down what we're looking for. With that said, guys, I think we have a okay list for, again, remember, this is Thursday, but it's a holiday Thursday. There is no trading tomorrow, so volume is going to be slightly on the light side, right? If this was Friday and we did not have news coming out on the SPY, and the SPY was not trading as good as it is now, our list would probably be a lot smaller, and there'll be a lot less here that would have been active this morning. So with that said, guys, let's go over to
answer one question.
Yes.
That we got. Somebody asking, why are higher priced stocks harder to trade? There's really one reason. It's nothing but your mind, primarily. Yep. I mean, if you adjust your share size, so you're trading either a $20,000 position size of Carnival at $17, or a $20,000 size of Amazon at $2,800, there really is no difference. There's more liquidity running through the CCL because it's a smaller, so higher number of shares. But since you've adjusted accordingly, you're not taking as many shares. It's really just psychological, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that is exactly it, guys. All right, let's go over to announcements. We'll come back. It's
not the spread, Dan Stan. Spread doesn't matter as a percentage of the cost of the stock. You can trade Apple at $350 that's got a 1 or 2 cent spread or something. You got to think of the percentage wise how bad the spread is. So things aren't necessarily spready just because they're expensive.
Yeah.
And then you can find $10 stocks with a 50-cent spread and $400 stocks with a penny spread. So yeah.
So always think about percentages, guys. That's very important in everything. When it comes to trading, think about percentages. When it comes to your P&L, think about percentages. We see people that look at these other traders that have bigger accounts that are making X amount of dollars, and they have a smaller account. Their experience is a lot less, and they feel that they can make that same amount. It's not the same. You got to think about percentage. If you can make 1%, that person's probably making 1%. If you can make 1%, you are basically doing very well. So always think about percentages. A 50-cent spread on Apple, as you mentioned, is not the same as a 50-cent spread on AMD. It's very, very different situations. All right, let's go over to announcements, guys, and we'll come back and fine-tune this list.
Well, the first announcement I have is happy birthday, Thor. So happy birthday, man. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great long weekend. Last night, 5 p.m. was Eamon's success webinar, and there was a misprint on the page, even though we have mentioned it repeatedly, and here in the announcements it would be at 5. Because of his time zone, that's midnight for him, so we weren't going to make him do a success webinar at 3 in the morning. But he did that. I believe it's already posted, so if you haven't had a chance to watch that, or you came in at 8 expecting it to be at 8, that's recording. It's already up on the site. Next week, Dr. Reed had to postpone, so we are rescheduling him for August. We will have a success webinar next week. Carlos, do you know who that is yet?
Yes, so we are going to have Peter, and the title slips my mind at the moment, but Peter is moving his presentation up. That was going to be the following week after that. Awesome. So he's up next week.
Awesome. As far as psychology, Module 6 from Mike is up. I don't believe there's a psychology webinar next week, but we'll have the full schedule starting the week after. If you're watching us on YouTube and would like to try out the room, you can do so at a discount for $24 instead of $39. Use the promo code PREMARKET24. If you're considering doing that, the weekend is a great time to do it. I would wait, to be completely frank, until Saturday, so you don't skip it. You don't lose a day from tomorrow being a holiday, since we won't be here and the markets are closed. But if you queue it up on Saturday or Sunday, it gives you 1 calendar week, 7 days, and 5 trading days. You can get stuff set up and check out the site and everything over the weekend. Monday, you can check out the room Monday night. You can go to the onboarding class that's part of that package, and Carlos will be in there live Monday night at 8 p.m. And then you can be in the chat for the rest of the week, feel it out, see if it's a good fit for you. We love it here. We know it's not a great fit for everybody, so give it a shot if you like. If you would like to become a lifetime member or upgrade your membership to lifetime, use the promo code Independence40. That'll give you 40% off lifetime membership, the single payment option. So note that will be expired. That code will be going away in a few days, early next week, I believe. If you're a fan of podcasts, search your favorite platform. Use the search term Talk with Traders. You'll find the Bear Bull Traders podcast, churning out new content there constantly. And then, I don't know, Peter, Mike, are you guys doing the close show today, since it's kind of technically Friday? Anyway, usually Monday through Thursday, 3:30 to 4:15 p.m. Eastern, they are doing the market close show, live streaming that over to YouTube. So, Peter, yep, I just got the affirmative. They will be doing that show today. Maybe a Roman candle fight virtually. They can point them at the screens and fire them off at each other. It would be fun to watch. I'll tune in for that. So two other quick things. DAS is starting their One Best Trader competition on Monday, and it runs through July 31st. So if you go to onebesttrader.com, just like is up there on the screen, that's the number one besttrader.com. Use the promo code BBT25. I know this is confusing. BBT25. It will give you $50 off the registration fee. So, and then the one other thing we were going to talk about, simulator. If you're trading in sim, if you're trying to learn, you got a replay feature on whatever platform you use, DAS, Thinkorswim, or if you use a trading sim alone kind of deal. You can go to this page, go to trading and then simulator, scroll down, and you'll see weekly practice. We're putting this up at the end of the week, each week, so you can go back in time and trade these and practice. And it's kind of like homework, but fun homework, and help you out. So there you go. And hey, man, first BBT meetup since, well, I want to say the last one we had was what, February? Was it February, like 8th or something, Carlos? It's when I saw you. We were in New York.
New York. Yeah, that was the last one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like a week before we got shut down, and we were all worried we maybe got the Rona, because we were all in New York a week before everything closed down, man. And so anyway, this is the first meetup in a long time. I know Andrew's been dying to get out. He was in Banff. So thank you to the traders that came out to see him. It is awesome to see your smiling faces. Hope you had a great time and ran up this tab.
Excellent. Thank you, Norm, for that. All right, guys, let's get to our list here. Let's start with the top. So INO, we are going to keep this one very active this morning. Plug is also very active, about to hit 1 million shares traded right now. So let's see how that's going to end up. Again, not as clean as pre-market action as we're seeing on NIO, right? You see some choppiness here on their candles. Now we're starting to get bigger body candles here, which is great. This is what you want to see in your pre-market action, like you have on NIO. Look how beautiful this is. WKHS is a little bit wild this morning. Pops have been pretty crazy, as you can see here, but this is one that has been very explosive, guys. Look at the daily with some pretty good volume over the last couple of days. It's been maintaining that, and the continuations continue to happen here. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Might not be on our main list, just because it is a little bit tougher to trade. You got to be a little bit more careful. So I might watch something that's a little bit more tamed this morning. Here's CCL. So all the airlines and cruise lines look very similar. This kind of price action, we're up slightly, about 4 or 5%. but we haven't done much just yet. So I think we're kind of just holding on here, except for American Airlines. American Airlines got the most volume out of all the airlines at 2.7, and this one looks a lot cleaner. So I'm keeping an eye on this one, keeping an eye on CCL in case the cruise lines can get a little bit better here. INO, another one that has been pretty active as well, guys. This one is again up. It was down early this morning. Now it's up 1.4. Again, this thing has been incredible what it has done. It has gone from 15 all the way up to 30. Had a couple of pretty good trades in here, and you can see here now we're dropping down again. So we'll see. Very active, guys. A little more difficult to trade. We've seen this in our chat room during middays, make some crazy pops as it's dropping. It did that yesterday as well. It was a beautiful short. Just lost it incredibly, but you can see here you had some pretty good pops and some pretty possible reversals here if you were quick and just looking for a quick scalp. Beautiful reversal once it got pretty extended all the way up to 1836. So again, a stock that can be very active. This type of stock, guys, if you're new and you see it dropping like this, you want to be careful in doing these double bottoms. We were talking about this in the chat room. This here looked like a double bottom, almost a triple bottom, but it failed. The minute this failed, if you are in this trade on this type of stock, you want to bail. You don't want to hold this. You don't want to be optimistic, think that this is going to come back, because these type of stocks, when they do drop, again, they take the window down, not the elevator. So be very careful. Here's BYND, guys. This one looking okay right now. Not all that great. So I'm going to remove it because I have way too many on here. So let's remove BYND. That's a good one to see in our scanners. JPM, very active as Norm mentioned yesterday. So I do like the way this is here. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. Here is Roku. Roku also, I'm going to move down to a possible. Not all that great pre-market action, but we've seen Roku be very explosive. So we'll move this down here. I say possible this morning. Let's get rid of this one here. Here is SQ. What do we have on SQ? SQ just continues to break higher, guys. Pre-market is a little bit, I don't want to say choppy, but it's not as clean. I want to keep it as a good possible, probably the strongest possible we have this morning. And I will be looking for that in our scanners. And I also will be looking out for Brian calling anything out, because he is the SQ master on this stock. PFE breaking out of yesterday's high pretty nice here, guys. We could get a good continuation on PFE today. Again, they had some pretty good news yesterday, a lot of volume. And if you look at how it traded yesterday after the news broke out here in pre-market, it definitely got things going, even with the SPY and the overall market. And then kind of chopped around sideways for a bit. They didn't do all that much. It did sell down even lower past the low of the day, or right to the low of the day yesterday towards the close. And then today we're bouncing back a bit here. So I want to see what we can get going with this stock this morning. Here is BA. BA for the most part pretty similar to the airlines. I think I'm just going to keep American Airlines. They have some pretty good volume. BA, we can move down to the bottom of the possibles list, because I do want to keep a close eye on SQ and Roku as our list of possibles this morning. So let's get rid of BA from the main list today. Some of the stocks that are also should be named SHLL. This is a shell company, so be careful, but we know it has been active. We know people have been taking some pretty good trades on it, so keep an eye on it. If that's your style, I'm going to remove it on my end. BLNK, another one I saw that has been pretty explosive, but for the most part, not really my style. FRNA is active, guys. This is a low flow stock today that's ramping up pretty nice on some news of, and they're coming out with an app. So again, not, you would think every company will have an app by now, but that is what's popping this one this morning. If you like this type of low flow stock, this one is sitting at 3 million shares, guys. So be careful with this one. So I'm going to remove it out of my list here. NKLA is coming back a bit here. This one, guys, if you're going to watch it, I'm going to remove it. Again, just a reminder, be careful of the spread. If you look in here, look at these zeros, 200 shares here, then nothing all the way down into this 64.78. That spread is horrible. It can't get better at the open, but please be very careful on some of the zeros. Somebody could be sitting here with literally 10 shares, 20 shares, anything less than 100 shares could be in these zeros. So be careful with NKLA. And we've seen what this stock could do. We've seen how explosive it can be. A stock that can move like this and with such a bad spread is a very dangerous combination. Be very careful. Obviously, Tesla, I'm going to keep here just to watch the action, but we will not be trading this one. Is completely out of the comfort zone now at this price target of 1200. Cannot wait to see how this one is going to end the day today. All right, let's start some level. Let's start with the bottom here, PFE. So I like the fact that we're breaking out of this the high from yesterday. Our pre-market high right now sitting at 34.96. So let's mark that down. Above that, we do have a beautiful level here, a very nice level, 35.69. Guys, look at the beautiful support we're getting here. The resistance, again, just amazing on this 35.69. And then towards the bottom, previous day close right on there, and then you have your highs and lows slightly below that, getting into the support there before we had this beautiful bounce. JP Morgan, guys, very active. Now, we mentioned this is a lot of volume, and you might think, well, that's only 365, and we have INO with 17 million, Plug with 1 million, and WKHS with 3.6 million. For this stock, for the way this trades, this is great volume. You normally do not get explosive volume like you do on NIO, like you do on AMD. These stocks tend to trade very, very high volume, but these banking stocks, you see something above 200, 300, that is pretty good volume. So especially on a NYSE stock, right? This is on the NYSE New York Stock Exchange. High of the pre-market 94.99. We've been just kind of stuck between this range here, between 95, basically where we're at now, and what seems to be the low of this range, 92.45. Just kind of ping-ponging back and forth here. It seems like we might want to break out of this today. Hopefully the SPY can give us some juice and get this going. I know Norm mentioned a lot of the financials are up this morning, so if we can break through this, we can really get some stuff going here. So 96, another great level of support that we're seeing here. A couple of days bouncing off of that, and another level here at 98.28 on JP Morgan. So we'll keep an eye on this one. INO. And excuse me if I'm confusing these back and forth, guys. So INO, right? This one here is 1.6 million right now. It is coming back down, so it's pretty much going to be flat for the most part. Has a very active pre-market activity with 1.6 million shares. As far as levels, we were sitting right above the previous day close. We do have our low from yesterday down here, which is also our low of our pre-market. If we head back down and lose that level, this is a very, very important level, guys. You have to have this down here. The low from yesterday and the low from this pre-market right here around 1835, 1825. That is key. If we come back down below this previous day close and we lose that level, I can expect this again, and not saying that's going to happen, but I can expect this as an opportunity for this to flush down to the next possible level. I think the fun has been pretty much over on INO here. Towards the top here, we do have our highs and lows from the last two trading days, and our pre-market high sitting at 2081. Here's American Airlines, very active, guys. Has probably one of the most volume when it comes to the airlines. High of the pre-market 1360. Again, very similar to some of these stocks that just been kind of chopping around in this range for the most part. So if we can get above this 1336, our high from yesterday all the way up to 1424, and then if you guys remember, we opened up and kind of crashed down for the most part on the entire day. So we'll see if we can break out of this. I have this one on here because it's very active, but not sure how clean this is going to be at the open. CCL, guys, very choppy pre-market action compared to what we're used to seeing from it. I think this could be, I'm gonna bring this down to a possible next to SQ and Roku, and we'll fine tune this possibles list even a little bit further. The reason I'm bringing it down because I think it's going to be dependent a lot on what the market does. Like a lot of these stocks are going to trade that way, but again, I'm not seeing anything all that great overpowering what we've seen usually in the past. So I'm going to remove it here. We'll keep it as strong possible. We do have our scanners, and we do have a bunch of moderators are also looking at these stocks. They'll call something out if they see something moving here that looks good. WKHS, very active. Let's do some levels here. The only one you really need is the high of the pre-market, guys, 2154. Towards the bottom, plenty of levels, highs and lows. Previous day close got you covered. 2154 is the pre-market high you want to have on there. Above this, we have Plug. So Plug, for the most part, moving sideways a bit now. High of our pre-market 979, which we tested quite a bit this morning. We'll see if we can get back up there, or are we going to come crashing down. A good pre-market level to have, guys, is this one right on here, 951. We tested as support plenty of times. We're coming right back down to it. Let's see if we're going to hold here or head down towards the low of the pre-market, sitting around 930 this morning. All right, so NIO now, guys. This one has one of the best pre-market actions that we have seen. Very strong this morning, up 18.5. High of our pre-market 943. Towards the bottom, you really have no other levels besides heading back towards the low of the pre-market, high of the last two trading days, and previous day close. Again, beautiful breakout here, guys. We tested this $8 level twice, and then this morning we're breaking out nicely. So great pre-market action. Since we don't have any levels all the way down here, let's look at some good pre-market levels. This is one here, 916. 815. Beautiful area where we found some good support and headed back to the pre-market highs. And then right over here, you also have some consolidation happening around 889 as well before you had a beautiful, nice breakout. So some pretty good levels here in the pre-market. And this is, again, as I mentioned before, a very clean, nice pre-market action this morning. So guys, that is what we have for this Thursday holiday weekend coming up. Again, be mindful of the volume today, because I think things can be a little bit choppy. The SPY is creating a lot of movement for us. I have to agree with that, and we're going to see a lot of stocks that are kind of waiting to see what the SPY is going to do. If the SPY continues to rip, I think we're going to see a lot of stocks follow suit, and that could create some good opportunities for us. I'm going to check BYND because I see a few people throwing that out there. Is anything happening with BYND this morning? Oh, yes. Good call. BYND is getting a little bit active here. So I'm going to mark down this 146.02. And the reason why is because it looks like this was an area of resistance for this stock before it was able to break out now like it is, right? So I'm going to mark that down. Let's keep that on there. Above that, we do have the high from yesterday. Below, plenty of levels, highs and lows. We can mark down the previous day close. But BYND, yeah, it's looking good. I'm gonna put it on here. If it can get going here, put in a nice little squeeze, it can be pretty decent. All right, folks, this is what we have. Everyone have a great holiday weekend. Remember, guys, as traders, our number one job is to sit and wait for opportunity. Sometimes, especially if you're new, you feel that you have to be in a trade, and that is not the case. You know, trading, I saw a post on somewhere or some book I read. I can't remember the stuff I read, but I just keep some of the stuff that I read. That's great. Is that 90% of the time you're just watching, you're just sitting and watching, and that could be difficult to do if you're a new trader because you want to be in the game, you want to be in a trade. But just keep that in mind. Be patient, wait for the opportunity. Your job is to watch, and then act, right? Do that first before just acting, and be in a situation where you're over trading, taking bad trades that are not good, and do not fit your criteria. So with that said, guys, have a great weekend. Have a great holiday weekend. We will see you on Monday, 8:30 Eastern time.
Yeah, we'll see you Monday. Andrew will be out today. He's still traveling. He should be back on Monday. So I don't know if it's Thor who's trading the open with Brian. But you guys have a great weekend. Happy Independence Day, and we'll see you Monday.
You know what? And I'll give you one little extra thing here that I forgot to do. Let's look at what the moderators are watching, guys. So we have Thor, WKHS. He's also watching MU, and some of the travel stuff looks boring. I agree with you, Thor. The travel stuff's not looking great today, except for American Airlines looking okay. Aside from that, everything's not looking great. Peter's main watch list, INO, SQ. His secondary list, of course, AMD's on there, MU, WKHS, NIO, FP, PFE, JP Morgan, and Microsoft is also there. Jared, he's that's something else, I suppose. Eamon, he's watching INO, Tesla, WKHS. All right, let's head down over.
Clarify that he's trading NIO, not INO.
Yes, so it's confusing, man. I confuse them all the time.
The car company, not the vaccine company.
Exactly, which both could go very well together. Here's Norm, INO. He's watching NCLH, United, JP Morgan, Microsoft, SQ, BA, and Roku. And Brian, who's going to be joining with Thor for the Open. He's watching Baba, WKHS, NIO, and INO. He's watching both, and Fran, FRRAN. So if you know Fran, we looked at it earlier. This is a low flow that it is very active this morning, so be careful with that one. And Jerry's watching some of the banking.
And they're making an app.
They're making an app. Yeah, that's gonna be they're making an app. So Jerry's watching some of the banking stuff. Also, gold GLD. So, guys, take care. Happy birthday to Thor, and make sure you hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week.
Happy birthday, America.
Yes, that too.